The first time I saw a verified celebrity doing the trend I invented, my hands started shaking. Because the entire thing was fake. Completely fake. And if anyone traced it back to me, my life was over. Ryan. That's my name. At least online, it meant nothing. 3 years of posting. 3 years of editing at 2 a.m. 3 years of watching analytics like they were a heartbeat monitor keeping my dreams alive. Flatline. I wasn't asking for millions. I wasn't asking for brand deals. I just wanted proof that I mattered. That something I made could ripple beyond my bedroom walls. Instead, I got silence. You know that feeling when you upload a video, close the app, reopen it 5 minutes later hoping the numbers jumped, and they didn't? That tiny punch in your chest? That whisper that maybe you're just not good enough? That whisper got louder every month. And then came Marcus. Daniel's birthday party. Loud music. Cheap LED lights flashing across sweaty faces. I almost didn't go, but I forced myself. Stop obsessing over TikTok, I told myself. Be normal. Marcus was already holding court in the kitchen. 600k followers. Verified. Confident in that effortless way people are when the world constantly claps for them. Daniel introduced us. Oh, Ryan makes content too, Daniel said casually. Marcus turned to me with a grin that wasn't friendly. Oh yeah? How many followers? I hesitated. I don't know why. Maybe I hoped the number would magically change if I delayed saying it. Like, 12,000. He blinked. Then laughed. Not mean enough to call out. Not kind enough to ignore. Just loud enough for people nearby to hear. 12,000? Bro, that's not content. That's a hobby. The word hobby burned. I felt heat crawl up my neck. My jaw tightened. I forced a smile like it didn't matter. At least I'm consistent, I muttered. Marcus leaned closer, lowering his voice just enough to make it feel personal. Consistency doesn't matter if nobody cares. Nobody cares. I went home early that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying it. The smirk. The tone. The way people nearby smirked too, even if they didn't mean to. Nobody cares. That was the moment something shifted. It stopped being about going viral. It became about control. Because here's what most people don't understand, trends aren't random. They're psychology. They're momentum. They're perception. People don't join things because they're good. They join because they think other people are joining. And what if you could fake that part? The idea didn't come all at once. It crept in slowly. What if I created something mysterious? Something vague. Something that felt exclusive. Not a dance. Not a challenge. Something that makes people feel like they're missing out. Curiosity spreads faster than talent. At 2:17 a.m., I opened my laptop. Blank screen. Cursor blinking. What if I build a trend from nothing? I whispered to myself. 3 words appeared in my notes. The 72 rule. It sounded official. Almost scientific. Like something you should already know about. But it meant nothing. No research. No study. No background. I made it up. I wrote a fake psychological explanation about decision cycles and subconscious manifestation windows. It sounded complicated enough to feel real. Then I created a simple gesture. Brush your shoulder lightly. Like you're removing invisible dust. Subtle. Repeatable. Harmless. I recorded a short video. If you know about the 72 rule, you know. Don't explain it. Just do it. No hashtags. No explanation. I didn't post it from my main account. That would be suspicious. Instead, I used 3 burner accounts I created months ago for testing content. No profile pictures. Random usernames. I uploaded the same cryptic video from all 3 within 10 minutes. Then I waited. Nothing at first. 0 views. 0 engagement. I almost deleted them. But at 3:08 a.m., one of the videos hit 104 views. Then 212. Then a comment appeared. What is the 72 rule? My heart started pounding. I didn't respond. Silence is powerful. Another comment. Wait, is this that manifestation thing? Another. Why is everyone doing this? They weren't. Not yet. But the idea that they might be was enough. By 6 a.m., the combined views hit 3,000. Not viral. But alive? When I woke up around noon, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. One of the burner videos had crossed 22,000 views. Someone with 40k followers had reposted it. Caption, are we doing the 72 rule now? Now. As if it already existed. I sat upright in bed. This was phase 1. Curiosity. Phase 2 required legitimacy. So I posted from my real account. Calm face. Neutral tone. Day 1 of the 72 rule. Don't ask questions. And I did the gesture. Within minutes, comments started flooding in. You too? I thought this was private. How did you find out about it? I didn't answer. Mystery feeds itself. And then something happened that made my pulse spike. Marcus posted. Same gesture. Same phrase. Guess we're all on day one. The guy who said nobody cares was copying something I created. And he had no idea. But this was only hour 14. And the next 58 hours were about to spiral into something I couldn't control anymore. By hour 18, it wasn't a joke anymore. It was a pattern. I sat cross-legged on my bed, laptop open, 6 different tabs tracking hashtags, search spikes, and reposts. My heart was beating so hard I could hear it in my ears. #72 rule didn't even exist yet. But people were typing it, searching it, guessing it, speculating. And every time someone asked, what is the 72 rule? Someone else replied, if you know, you know. They were doing my job for me. That's when it hit me. I wasn't just watching a trend grow. I was watching human psychology unfold in real time. Marcus posted again around hour 21. This time with dramatic music. He stared into the camera, did the shoulder brush, and captioned it. Day 1, 72 hours. Don't fold. Don't fold. He added his own twist. And his followers ate it up. The comments were wild. Bro finally talking about it. I thought I was the only one. I'm starting tonight. You thought you were the only one. That sentence gave me chills. They believed it had been happening before they discovered it. That's the power of perceived exclusivity. By midnight, 3 mid-tier influencers had joined in. Not coordinated. Not connected. Just reacting to the same mysterious momentum. No one wanted to be the outsider. No one wanted to admit they didn't understand. So they copied. Quietly. I should have stopped there. I proved my point. Marcus was following me. The system worked. But ego is dangerous. And I wasn't satisfied. I wanted scale. So I moved to phase 3. Acceleration. I took one of my burner accounts and commented on a celebrity gossip page. Crazy how fast the 72 rule is spreading. No explanation. Just a statement. Then I logged into another burner and replied. It's already hit LA. Lie. Then another. New York too. Bigger lie. I leaned back in my chair, palms sweating. This wasn't harmless anymore. This was manipulation. But I told myself something to justify it. No one is getting hurt. It's just a gesture. Just curiosity. Just hype. At hour 30, something changed. A lifestyle influencer with 2.3 million followers posted it. Casually. Like she'd known about it for weeks. Day 1. Let's see if it works. Works. Works for what? I laughed out loud. There was no wit. But her comment section exploded. Wait, so it's real? My friend told me about this. I heard it's about energy cycles. Energy cycles? I never mentioned energy cycles. The audience was building lore around my fiction. And that's when the fear crept in. Because I wasn't controlling it anymore. The narrative was mutating. By hour 36, the hashtag officially existed. Over 70,000 videos. 70,000. In a day and a half. I hadn't eaten properly. My room smelled like stale air and anxiety. My screen light made everything look unreal. My phone buzzed. Daniel. Bro, are you seeing this 72 rule thing? I swallowed. Yeah. Marcus is going crazy about it. He says it's about discipline or something. Discipline. Now it was self-improvement. I ended the call quickly. Because my hands were shaking again. This was supposed to be a social experiment. Proof that trends were manufactured. But now influencers were adding meaning to it. Spiritual meaning. Productivity meaning. Manifestation meaning. It was becoming a belief. And belief spreads faster than entertainment. Hour 41. A fitness creator posted. 72 hours. No excuses. You'll thank me. His video hit 800k views in 3 hours. People were crying in the comments. Crying. Saying this was the sign they needed. A sign for what? There was nothing behind it. Nothing. I felt my stomach twist. This wasn't about Marcus anymore. It wasn't about revenge. It was about scale. And scale doesn't ask permission. Then at hour 48, the first verified celebrity joined. A blue check. 10 million followers. He did the gesture casually at the end of a vlog. Didn't explain it. Just smiled knowingly. The comments exploded. He knows. It's everywhere now. It reached Hollywood. Hollywood. I stared at the screen, pulse hammering. This was supposed to prove nobody cares. Instead, I had proven something worse. Everyone cares. As long as they think other people care first. And then my phone buzzed again. Marcus. Direct message. Yo. Random question. Do you know who actually started the 72 thing? My chest tightened. I stared at the message for a full minute. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. If I said yes? If I hinted? If I slipped? Everything would unravel. I typed back. No idea. It's wild though. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Yeah, he replied. It's blowing up. Brand reached out asking if I want to build something around it. My heart stopped. Build something around it? A brand? Money was entering the picture. And I suddenly realized something terrifying. If companies start investing, if campaigns start launching, and someone traces the origin, back to 3 burner accounts, back to identical upload timestamps, back to me. This stops being a joke. It becomes fraud. Hour 52. I opened the burner accounts. I hovered over delete. 1 click and it vanishes. But if I delete them now, people will ask why. Conspiracy thrives in absence. Hour 60. Celebrities in New York. Hour 66. Athletes. Hour 70. It wasn't a trend anymore. It was a movement. And I had no control over what people believed it meant. Then at hour 72, the phrase changed. Someone posted. The 72 rule revealed tonight. Revealed? Revealed what? My chest tightened. Because I hadn't planned a reveal. There was nothing to reveal. And if someone else invents one, the story stops being mine. And that's when I realized the most dangerous part of creating something fake is what happens when the world decides it's real. Hour 72. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. My room was dark except for the blue light of my monitor, and the hashtag counter kept climbing like it had its own heartbeat. #72 rule, 1.8 million videos. That number didn't even look real anymore. It looked manufactured. Which was ironic. Because it was. But not in the way anyone thought. The reveal video was scheduled for 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Some influencer I'd never heard of claimed she was going live to explain the origins of the 72 rule. Origins. My mouth went dry. There were no origins. Just me. 3 burner accounts. And 1 bruised ego. I opened all 3 burners again. Checked timestamps. Checked IP logs. Checked anything I could think of that might connect them back to my main account. My hands were shaking so badly I kept mistyping passwords. I told myself to calm down. No one knows. No one suspects. But paranoia doesn't listen to logic. At 8:57 p.m., her live started. 120,000 viewers within minutes. I watched in silence. She leaned toward the camera like she was about to expose government secrets. So the 72 rule actually comes from an old productivity framework, she began confidently. I blinked. Productivity framework? She continued. It's about committing to something for 72 hours straight without telling anyone your goal. The shoulder gesture is a reminder to brush off doubt. Brush off doubt. That was clever. Way more clever than what I created. The comments exploded. OMG, that makes sense. I knew it. I'm doing this starting tonight. I sat back slowly. Relief washed over me. She didn't trace it. She didn't question it. She just built meaning. And everyone accepted it. Not because it was true, but because it felt structured. People crave structure. Hour 75. Major lifestyle pages were summarizing it. Experts say the 72 rule increases focus. Experts? Which experts? There were none. But no one fact-checked. Why would they? It wasn't political. It wasn't dangerous. It was motivational. By hour 80, brands started integrating it into captions. 72 hours to unlock your potential. My phone buzzed again. Marcus. Bro, this is insane. 2 brands asked me to create a 72-hour challenge series. This might be huge. Huge. My throat tightened. Because now it wasn't just hype. It was monetization. And if money flows long enough, someone investigates the source. I opened my analytics. My day 1 video was at 3.4 million views. 3.4 million. Comments were calling me one of the early adopters. Some even speculated I was involved in starting it. My chest tightened at that. Involved. That word felt too close to the truth. Then something happened that made my blood run cold. A tech commentary page posted a breakdown. How trends are engineered, the 72 rule case study. Case study? I clicked immediately. They analyzed the first 20 videos uploaded under the phrase. My heart started racing. They zoomed into timestamps. Upload clusters. Posting windows. Notice how 3 of the earliest videos were uploaded within minutes of each other, the commentator said. My vision blurred. He didn't say usernames. Not yet. But he highlighted the pattern. This suggests coordination, he continued. Either a marketing campaign or a social experiment. Social experiment. My breathing became shallow. The comments were split. Probably a brand stunt. No way, this is organic. I think someone's playing us. Playing us. I swallowed. Because they weren't wrong. But they weren't fully right either. It wasn't a brand. It wasn't a corporation. It was one guy in a dark bedroom trying to prove a point. Hour 86. The commentary video hit 900k views. Speculation started spreading faster than the trend itself. Now there were two narratives. The believers. And the skeptics. And both sides were fueling engagement. Which meant the algorithm loved it. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I hesitated. Then answered. Ryan? A calm, professional voice. Yes. This is Amanda from a digital marketing agency. We're representing a few creators involved in the 72 Rule movement. We've noticed your early participation. We'd love to talk about potential collaboration. My pulse hammered in my ears. Involved. Collaboration. I forced my voice steady. Sure. What kind of collaboration? We're developing an official 72-hour productivity campaign. Since you were one of the first accounts to post about it, we'd like you on the launch panel. Official. The word echoed. There was nothing official. If I joined that panel, I'd be sitting next to influencers explaining something I invented. Explaining psychology I fabricated. If I declined, it might look suspicious. If I accepted, I'd be building a lie into something permanent. After the call ended, I sat there in silence. This was supposed to be revenge. Proof that Marcus and people like him just followed momentum. And I had that proof. He followed. Celebrities followed. Brands followed. But now the lie had mass. It had infrastructure. And infrastructure doesn't collapse quietly. Then at hour 90, Marcus posted a video that made my stomach drop. Big announcement tomorrow, he said with a grin. I've partnered with a brand to officially launch the 72 challenge. Officially launch. My creation. His campaign. And the comments were calling him a visionary. A leader. The originator. Originator. I felt something dark rise in my chest. Because the guy who laughed at me was about to profit from something I built. And he still had no idea. But this wasn't just about ego anymore. Because if he formalized it, if contracts were signed, if legal teams got involved, someone would dig deeper. And if they followed the thread far enough, they'd find the 3 burner accounts. And behind them, Ryan. I didn't feel powerful anymore. I felt replaceable. That was the worst part. I built the spark, and now Marcus was stepping in to hold the torch like it was always his. His big announcement, countdown hit midnight. I watched it alone, lights off, blinds closed, like I was hiding from something. Tomorrow, he said in his story, smiling into the camera, we're launching the official 72 challenge. Structured. Backed by research. Real results. Backed by research. I almost laughed. There was no research. There never was. But confidence sells truth better than facts ever could. My phone buzzed non-stop. Notifications from my own video climbing past 5 million views. Comments tagging me under Marcus's posts. Ryan started talking about this early. Didn't he do it first? That scared me more than anything. Because once people start asking who was first, timelines get examined. And timelines don't lie. Unless someone rewrites them. That's when something snapped inside me. This started as revenge. Proof that Marcus followed hype. But now he was rewriting the narrative in real time. Positioning himself as the architect. And the internet was letting him. Because he had status. And I didn't. The unfairness of it hit me harder than the original insult at that party. Consistency doesn't matter if nobody cares. No. Consistency doesn't matter if someone bigger steals the spotlight. I opened my laptop. Pulled up the burner accounts again. Every upload timestamp. Every early comment I seeded. Every subtle nudge. Proof. I had proof. The question was, what do I do with it? Expose it? If I publicly claimed I created it, I'd have to admit I fabricated the entire thing. The fake psychology. The fake backstory. The coordinated uploads. That doesn't make me a genius. That makes me manipulative. Brands wouldn't partner with me. They'd avoid me. Or worse, legal consequences. But if I stayed silent, Marcus profits. Marcus gets the praise. Marcus becomes the face of something that started in my bedroom at 2:17 a.m. because I was tired of being invisible. My chest felt tight. My thoughts were racing so fast they blurred together. Then I got a notification that made my stomach drop. The tech commentary page posted an update. Title, was the 72 rule manufactured? They zoomed in further this time. Highlighted the exact 3 burner accounts. No names yet. But screenshots were clearer. Notice the similar editing style, the commentator said. Same camera angle. Same lighting tone. My throat went dry. I hadn't even thought about lighting. Same bedroom. Same lamp. Same wall. I felt stupid. Careless. They didn't know it was me. But they knew it wasn't organic. And once people smell something artificial, they start digging. Then came the DM. From someone I didn't recognize. Hey Ryan. Weird question. Are you connected to the 72 Rule accounts? My fingers froze over the keyboard. I stared at the message like it was a loaded weapon. How did they even connect me? I checked their profile. Small creator. 15K followers. But their bio said something that made my stomach twist. Digital forensics student. Digital forensics. My pulse spiked. I didn't respond. Instead, I went back to the burner accounts and scrolled through everything again. Patterns. Mistakes. Overlap. Then I saw it. On one burner account. I had accidentally liked a comment from my main account weeks ago. I had unliked it later. But what if someone screenshot it? What if someone noticed the overlap in follower lists? My breathing became shallow. This wasn't theoretical anymore. This was traceable. And then Marcus went live. Over 300,000 viewers instantly. He looked confident. Excited. Tomorrow we're officially launching the 72 challenge with a structured plan, he said. I've partnered with Elevate Labs to make it legit. Elevate Labs. A real brand. Real contracts. Real lawyers. He continued, and for everyone asking who started it, honestly, it doesn't matter. Movements are bigger than one person. My jaw tightened. It doesn't matter. It mattered to me. Because I knew exactly how it started. He ended the live by saying something that felt like a punch to the chest. Some people think trends are accidents. They're not. They're built. Built. He said it like he was the builder. The irony made me dizzy. I leaned back in my chair and stared at the ceiling. I had two options. Stay silent and watch Marcus monetize my experiment. Or take control of the narrative before someone else exposes it for me. Because once digital forensics students start connecting dots, it's only a matter of time. And if someone exposes me as the anonymous creator first, I lose control completely. This was no longer about revenge. It was about survival. And I had 12 hours before Marcus's official launch went public. 12 hours to decide whether I stay invisible or step into the fire I created. I didn't sleep. Again. The clock on my laptop read 3:42 a.m. Marcus's official launch was scheduled for noon. 8 hours. 8 hours before he turned my lie into a brand asset. I stared at my reflection in the dark screen. You wanted control, I whispered to myself. Well, this is control. This is what it feels like when something you create grows teeth. I opened a blank document and started writing. Not a confession. Not yet. Just a timeline. 2:17 a.m., concept created. 2:31 a.m., burner account uploads. 3:08 a.m., first comment. Hour 21, Marcus posts. Hour 48, first celebrity. I documented everything. Because if I decided to speak, I needed receipts. But there was a bigger problem. If I exposed the truth, that the 72 rule was completely fabricated, I wouldn't just embarrass Marcus. I'd collapse the belief system millions of people had attached themselves to. People were crying in comment sections. Quitting bad habits. Starting gym routines. Texting exes. Applying for jobs. They weren't following a rule. They were following hope. And hope doesn't like being told it's fake. My phone buzzed. Daniel. Bro, you good? Yeah, I lied. Marcus says he might be on a podcast next week talking about how he helped shape the 72 movement. That's crazy. Helped shape. The narrative was already solidifying. By morning, major pages were crediting creators like Marcus for giving the trend structure. Structure. That word again. The reveal influencer's explanation had stuck. Now everyone believed the 72 rule meant committing to a goal privately for 72 hours. It was clean. Marketable. Safe. And completely invented by strangers who didn't know they were inventing it. At 10:12 a.m., the digital forensics student messaged again. I'm not trying to expose you. I just think it's fascinating how coordinated it was. If you're behind it, it's genius. Genius. That word hit differently. Because for the first time, someone saw it as intentional. Not accidental. Intentional. I typed back slowly. Why do you think it was coordinated? 3 dots appeared instantly. The first 3 uploads were within 9 minutes. Same lighting. Same compression artifact. That doesn't happen organically. Compression artifact. I felt sick. They were right. I hadn't thought about metadata. I hadn't thought about encoding signatures. I thought I was smart. I wasn't thorough. You should claim it before someone else does, they added. Right now the narrative is still forming. Claim it. The idea echoed in my head. If I stepped forward before Marcus's launch, I control the framing. If I wait, he cements himself as leader. 11:03 a.m. 1 hour left. Marcus posted a teaser. Ready to change your life in 72 hours. Change your life. The audacity almost made me laugh. This was supposed to be revenge for 3 words. Nobody cares. Now millions cared. About something that didn't exist. I stood up from my chair, paced the room. My heart was racing, but under the panic, there was clarity. Marcus didn't create it. But he didn't manipulate it either. He believed it. Just like everyone else. The real manipulation was mine. I engineered perception. And now I was angry that someone else was better at riding it. That realization hurt. Because it forced me to confront something uncomfortable. This wasn't about justice anymore. It was about ego. About wanting credit. About wanting validation. The same thing that made me start this in the first place. My laptop screen lit up again. Countdown, 42 minutes and 16 seconds. 42 minutes until Marcus goes live with Elevate Labs. If I'm going to speak, it has to be now. I opened TikTok. Hit record. My face looked pale. Tired. Honest. For a few seconds, I couldn't speak. Then I stopped recording. Deleted it. Not like that. If I do this, it needs to be precise. Strategic. I opened a new draft. Calm tone. No drama. No blame. Just facts. If you've been following the 72 rule trend, there's something you should know. I stopped again. My pulse was pounding in my ears. Once I post this, there's no undo button. And if legal teams get involved? If brands feel deceived? I could be held responsible. But if I stay silent? I live with watching someone else rewrite history. 30 minutes left. The comments under Marcus's teaser were exploding. This is going to be huge. Thank you for starting this. Starting this. My chest tightened again. I glanced at the message from the digital forensics student. You should claim it before someone else does. Claim it. Or lose it. 23 minutes. I hovered over the post button on my draft video. My thumb trembled slightly. This wasn't revenge anymore. This was choosing who I was going to be. The invisible observer? Or the architect who steps forward and risks everything. 15 minutes. Marcus's live waiting room already had 80,000 people queued. If I post now, it interrupts the momentum. If I wait, I disappear from the origin story forever. 10 minutes. I took a deep breath. And I pressed post. The screen refreshed. No going back now. The moment I hit post, my entire body went cold. There was no dramatic music. No explosion. No instant chaos. Just silence. My video sat there. 0 views. I stared at it like it might detonate. Then 3 views. The first comment came in under 30 seconds. What do you mean? Then another. Is this about the 72 rule? I didn't look away from the screen. My video wasn't emotional. It wasn't accusatory. It wasn't chaotic. It was calm. If you've been participating in the 72 rule trend, you deserve transparency. I created the original 3 videos that started it. There was no study. No framework. It was a social experiment about how trends spread. No anger. No blame. Just truth. At 2,000 views, the comments split instantly. You're lying for clout. No way. Prove it. I had anticipated that. In the second half of the video, I screen recorded the original drafts folder. The timestamps. The export files. The metadata. I didn't expose the burner usernames directly. But I showed enough to establish sequence. At 18,000 views, someone stitched it. At 40,000, it was reposted to Twitter. At 120,000, my phone began vibrating non-stop. Marcus went live. And his viewer count started dropping. I watched it in real time. 300k, 280k, 250k. Because my video was being shared in his comment section. Ryan says he started it. Is this true? I opened Marcus's live. His smile looked slightly forced now. The comments were flooding faster than he could read. Address Ryan. Is the 72 rule fake? Did you steal it? He paused mid-sentence. You could see the shift in his eyes. Confusion. Then irritation. What are you guys talking about? He asked. Someone pinned my video link in his chat. He looked at his phone off camera. Watched it? I could see his jaw tighten. Then he looked back at the camera. Well, if that's true, he said slowly, then it doesn't really change the impact, does it? Movements evolve. Evolve. He was trying to stay in control. But the energy had shifted. Because now the origin had a face. My face. Within an hour, my video crossed 2 million views. The tech commentary page posted again. Title, The 72 Rule Creator Speaks. They broke down my evidence. Verified timestamps. Confirmed upload clusters. Their conclusion? It appears Ryan orchestrated the initial seeding of the trend. Orchestrated. The word sounded almost cinematic. My DMs exploded. Half admiration. Half hate. You manipulated people. You exposed how fake influencers are. You're a genius. You're a liar. The internet doesn't pick one emotion. It splits in two. Meanwhile, Marcus posted a story. Short. Controlled. Apparently someone claims they started the 72 rule. Cool. Trends are collaborative. I'm focused on helping people improve their lives. Helping people. He didn't deny it. But he didn't credit me either. He minimized me. Again. That familiar burn returned to my chest. The same one from Daniel's kitchen. 12,000? That's not content. That's a hobby. Except now? My follower count was climbing by the second. 50k. 120k. 300k. In one day. The algorithm had flipped. But it didn't feel like victory. Because brands started commenting too. Elevate Labs posted. We were unaware of this information. We're reviewing. Reviewing. That word carries weight. Legal weight. My stomach dropped. This wasn't just online drama anymore. This was contractual. Money was involved. And I had just publicly admitted to manufacturing the origin. The digital forensics student messaged again. You handled that well. But be careful. Brands don't like unpredictability. Unpredictability. That's what I was now. Not a creator. A variable. By the end of the day, mainstream media tech blogs picked it up. TikTok trend revealed as social experiment. Some framed me as brilliant. Others framed me as manipulative. Marcus went quiet. Completely quiet. No lives. No updates. And that silence was louder than anything he could have said. Because silence means recalculation. That night, I sat in my dark room again. Except this time, the notification bar wouldn't stop lighting up. I had followers. Recognition. Credit. Everything I thought I wanted. But underneath it, there was a heavy feeling. Because I had proven my point. Trends can be engineered. Influencers follow momentum. Perception creates reality. But I also proved something about myself. I wasn't invisible because nobody cared. I was invisible because I hadn't forced attention. And once you force it, you can't control how it comes back. At 2:11 a.m., my phone buzzed one more time. Unknown number. Again. I hesitated before answering. Ryan, a calm voice said. Yes. This is legal representation for Elevate Labs. We'd like to clarify your involvement in the creation of the 72 rule. My heart began pounding slowly. Heavy. Measured. This wasn't Marcus anymore. This was lawyers. And lawyers don't care about revenge. They care about liability. And I suddenly realized something terrifying. I didn't just expose a trend. I disrupted a Monetized campaign. And someone might want compensation. I didn't speak for a few seconds. The silence on the phone stretched just long enough to feel deliberate. Ryan, the voice repeated, calm, controlled. The kind of calm that doesn't belong to someone who panics. Yes, I finally said. We're not calling to threaten you, the lawyer began. We just need clarity. When you say you created the original 72 rule videos, are you claiming intellectual ownership? Intellectual ownership. The phrase sounded bigger than what this was. I'm claiming I posted the first 3 videos, I said carefully. There was no trademark. No registered concept. It was just a phrase. A pause. We've paused our campaign rollout, he continued. Brands are cautious about potential misrepresentation. Misrepresentation. That word hit harder. Because technically, I had misrepresented something. But not to them. To the audience. There was no official study behind it, I said. That narrative developed after. Another pause. Understood. We'll be monitoring the situation. Monitoring. The call ended. I sat there staring at my phone like it had just aged 10 years. The rush was gone now. No adrenaline. Just consequences. My follower count had crossed 800,000. In less than 24 hours. Marcus finally posted. A 3-minute video. I watched it alone. He looked less confident this time. Controlled. Careful. So apparently Ryan claims he started the 72 rule, he began. If that's true, respect. But let's be honest, trends are shaped by the community. I helped give it structure. There it was. Not denial. Not apology. Reframing. He wasn't the origin. He was the architect of its meaning. The comments were split. Some defended him. Some defended me. But the difference now? People knew my name. Ryan. Not invisible. Not that small creator. A recognized origin point. And that recognition changed the power dynamic. Because brands weren't just contacting Marcus anymore. They were emailing me. 3 agencies reached out in one afternoon. 2 framed it as curiosity. 1 framed it as opportunity. We'd love to discuss how you engineered organic momentum. Engineered organic momentum. They turned manipulation into innovation. That's when something clicked. This whole thing wasn't about morality. It was about narrative control. If you frame it as deception, you're a villain. If you frame it as strategy, you're a genius. And I had just handed the internet both versions. The tech commentary page went live with me that night. 250,000 viewers. They asked the obvious question. Why did you do it? I could have said revenge. I could have said ego. But I told the truth. I wanted to prove that attention isn't about talent. It's about perceived momentum. The chat exploded. Facts. That's so real. Influencers are fake. But then someone asked something that cut deeper. So, do you feel guilty? That question lingered longer than any accusation. Did I? I thought about the comments from people who said the 72 rule motivated them to change their lives. People who believed in it. People who attached meaning to it. I don't regret exposing how trends spread, I said slowly. But I regret underestimating how much people would attach meaning to something empty. That was the truth. I didn't create discipline. Or productivity. Or hope. They did. I just created the spark. And sparks don't control the fire. After the live ended, my inbox had a new message. From Marcus. Call me. Simple. No ego. No smirk. Just 2 words. I stared at it for a long time. This was the moment everything came full circle. The guy who laughed at me. The guy who said nobody cares. Now wanted to talk. I called him. He picked up instantly. You really did start it, he asked. Yes. A long silence. Then he sighed. I didn't know, man. I thought it was organic. I know. Another pause. You kind of blew up my brand deal. There it was. Not anger. Not insult. Just reality. I didn't name you, I replied. I didn't accuse you. I know, he said again. But now everything looks messy. Messy. That word felt accurate. I didn't expect it to get this big, I admitted. Neither did I, he said. For the first time, there wasn't tension in his voice. Just fatigue. You proved your point, Marcus continued quietly. But you also proved something else. What? That attention isn't fair. It's leverage. Leverage. He wasn't wrong. We both used it. He used it to monetize. I used it to expose. Different strategies. Same system. After we hung up, I sat in silence again. My follower count crossed 1 million. 1 million. The number I used to dream about. And yet, it felt different than I imagined. Not pure. Not simple. It came with controversy. With headlines. With legal monitoring. With moral gray areas. But it also came with something undeniable. Respect. People weren't laughing at 12,000 anymore. They were dissecting my strategy. Inviting me to podcasts. Asking for insights. Nobody cares? No. They care when you force them to. The 72 rule eventually faded. Like all trends do. The hashtag slowed. The energy cooled. Marcus pivoted to other content. Elevate Labs quietly scrapped their campaign. No lawsuits. No public drama. Just digital amnesia. But my audience stayed. Because now I wasn't just another creator chasing trends. I was the guy who proved they could be built. And the strange part? I never felt the need to do it again. Because revenge wasn't what satisfied me. Control was. And once you understand the mechanics of attention, you stop begging for it. You start designing it. The question wasn't whether I won. Or whether Marcus lost. The question was something much simpler. If something fake can inspire real change, was it ever truly fake? For a week, everything was loud. Interviews. Podcasts. Threads breaking down my strategy. Think pieces calling me either a marketing genius or a manipulative opportunist. My name trended. Ryan, the architect of the 72 rule. The word architect kept appearing. I didn't correct it. Because architect sounds intentional. It sounds powerful. It sounds like someone who planned every move carefully. The truth? It started because I was humiliated at a birthday party. But the internet doesn't reward emotional honesty. It rewards positioning. Marcus kept a low profile for a few days. Then he pivoted. New content. New theme. Subtle rebrand. He never mentioned me again publicly. And strangely, that bothered me more than if he attacked me. Because silence removes conflict. And conflict keeps you relevant. Without Marcus pushing back, the narrative stabilized. Ryan started it. Marcus scaled it. The community defined it. Clean. Neat. Marketable. Brands started approaching me differently now. Not for lifestyle content. For strategy. How would you design organic momentum for a launch? How do you seed perception without it feeling forced? They weren't angry. They were curious. And that's when I realized something uncomfortable. Corporations don't hate manipulation. They hate losing control of it. As long as you can prove the result, they'll forgive the method. But there was still one loose thread. The digital forensics student. He messaged again. Have you considered how easy it was to trace? That line made my stomach tighten. Meaning? I replied. You left fingerprints. Lighting. Compression patterns. Posting intervals. You got lucky that no one escalated it further. Lucky? I stared at that word for a long time. Because he was right. If someone wanted to ruin me, they could have. If a bigger investigative creator decided to make an example out of me, it would have been messy. I wasn't untouchable. I was just early. That night, I rewatched my original confession video. Calm tone. Measured pacing. Strategic transparency. It worked because I framed it before someone else could. That was the real lesson. Control the narrative before the narrative controls you. A week later, Marcus finally reached out again. Coffee, he texted. Simple. No tension. No ego. We met at a quiet cafe. No cameras. No live stream. Just two creators who accidentally collided at the center of a viral storm. He looked tired. You know, he said, stirring his coffee slowly, when this first blew up, I thought you were attacking me. I wasn't, I said. I know that now. Silence hung between us for a moment. You proved something, Marcus continued. But you also made a lot of people uncomfortable. Because they realized how easy it is to influence them. I asked. He nodded. People don't like realizing they are predictable. That sentence stuck with me. Because that was the core of everything. The 72 rule wasn't about productivity, or discipline, or manifestation. It was about predictability. If you introduce mystery, if you create perceived exclusivity, if you show early adoption, people follow. Not because they are stupid, because they are human. Marcus leaned back. So what now? That question felt bigger than it sounded. What now? I had attention. I had credibility. But I also had a reputation tied to manipulation. I could lean into it. Become the guy who exposes systems. Or become the guy who engineers them. Two paths. One exposes illusions. The other builds them. And both are powerful. I'm not interested in faking anything again, I said finally. Marcus studied my face. You don't have to fake it. You just have to understand it. Understand it. That's the difference. Before, I wanted validation. Now, I wanted mastery. Over psychology. Over timing. Over narrative. But with intention. Not ego. Because ego was what started this. And ego nearly burned it down. As the weeks passed, the 72 rule faded into TikTok history. Just another digital wave. But something strange happened. People kept tagging me in new trends. Did you start this one too? Is this engineered? The trust shifted. They didn't see me as invisible anymore. They saw me as someone who understood the system. And that visibility felt different. It wasn't loud. It wasn't explosive. It was steady. Earned. But late one night, scrolling through old comments, I found one that stopped me. A girl wrote, I don't care if it was fake. The 72 rule helped me quit smoking. So thank you. I read it 3 times. Because that was the paradox. I created something empty. But people filled it with meaning. And that meaning created real change. Which forced me to confront a question I'd been avoiding since our 72. If the outcome was real, does the origin matter as much as I thought it did? And more importantly, if you can manufacture belief, are you responsible for what people build on top of it? I couldn't sleep that night. The 72 rule had faded from trending lists, but the ripple it caused remained. Emails. Interviews. DMs from creators asking me for strategy tips. Brands offering partnerships. Even small influencers tagging me in early adopter compilations. It was overwhelming, but in a quiet, controlled way. I sat on my bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Marcus. He hadn't attacked me publicly. He hadn't tried to reclaim credit. He adapted. Rebranded. Survived. I realized that this was the true lesson in digital revenge. It's not about destroying someone. It's about exposure and timing. I had proven a point. 1 million people had witnessed the power of momentum, perception, and manipulation. I wasn't invisible anymore. I had control of the narrative. And control is intoxicating. But even with all that, I felt a gnawing emptiness. Because in the end, the revenge I had sought wasn't about Marcus. It was about proving myself. And proving yourself is never truly satisfying until you see the real-world impact. Scrolling through TikTok one last time, I found a video stitched from my original posts. A teen had replicated the shoulder gesture, the cryptic caption, the day 1, 72 hours energy. He captioned it, inspired by Ryan. Let's see what happens. A smile crept onto my face. The spark I had created was still alive. But this time, it wasn't about ego. It was about inspiration. I closed my laptop. For the first time in 96 hours, silence. And I realized, the most satisfying revenge isn't humiliation. It's proof. Proof that you can shape perception, influence behavior, and emerge unseen, until the moment you choose to appear. The 72 rule had become more than a trend. It had become a lesson. A lesson in control. In timing. In human nature. And as I lay down, finally allowing sleep to take me, I knew this. The next time someone underestimates you, you won't just watch. You'll design. You'll execute. You'll let perception do the rest. Because in this world, attention is currency. And now, I had a fortune. Reflective wrap-up and outro CTA? If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and comment below, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.